Hello, gorgeous ladies. It is Camille here from Prioritize Love. I help single-driven women in how to attract a great life partner so they can have that love life they truly deserve. And I'm really excited to be chatting with one of my colleagues and friends and past clients. You're a bit of a combination, actually, of all of them, right?
Yes.
Melonie Taylor, welcome on the call.
Thank you. So lovely to be here. Very excited.
So, you have had such a beautiful journey. We have done some coaching together a little while ago. You are now in an amazing relationship, and you were on it. You were really clear on what you wanted to, what kind of guy you wanted to attract. And we just had a quick chat before we started the recording. You were talking about, the 4 different levels that you. Yeah, tell us a bit more about, like, what did you really want to experience? Well, what kind of guy did you want to attract?
Well, I wanted to attract what's called an interdependent relationship. So my reality for my whole life growing up, and a lot of people around me, had been a codependent relationship. And a part of me actually rebelled that, and I could see such inequality happening, and I thought, I want to have different to that. I want to have an interdependent relationship. So in metaphysical terms, that means 2 people that are whole and fulfill their own needs coming together through their value systems. And so from that place, then it's about contributing to the relationship, because you're both full and whole. So you actually don't need to take, you don't need anything. So then, a beautiful relationship can grow. And so in that space, I wanted to attract someone on a physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual level that was very much aligned to me and who I am, so that we could, and very, whole in themselves as well.
Absolutely. So you definitely wanted to be with someone you had that chemistry with, but also that spiritual connection, the emotional connection. So you wanted an extraordinary relationship. You didn't just want to be with, an okay guy. You had really high standards.
Yeah, definitely. And I remember being young in my early 20s, and I remember a neighbor actually saying to me, "Mel, you're too fussy." And I remember thinking, well, why wouldn't I be? Like, I was sort of, and I actually thought, well, I don't want to have a relationship like you. And why wouldn't I have the best possible? You only get one chance at this. And so, I appreciate her comment, because it made me more, I suppose, have more of a desire to have that ultimate relationship.
I love that. And I guess, you also, I think from what I observed, like, you also went through stages where you stayed away from, you had great other relationships, obviously friendships and family, but you stayed away from intimate relationships as well, because you do have an amazing life. You've got a thriving business. You followed your passion. So I guess I'm curious. I know I've asked you this before probably, but just for the women listening, like, what did then motivate you to go, okay, no, I really do want to have I do now want to make this a priority. What do you remember what that was?
I was just moving to a place of abundance, because as I moved through my own scarcity and fears, which you do in business, you have to work on all your limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
I really built my self-worth and self-respect. And I always knew that was there for me. And I knew that if I wanted to get it, I had to actually put the time and effort in, and I had to work with a specialist in that area. So I just had this knowing, and I know that the universe provides. And what I was working on was being courageous. And I thought, and I'm always working on that next level in my life. And it was like, where can I step out of my comfort zone? Where can I be more courageous? And it was actually opening up my heart to having that relationship. And I knew I had to work on myself first, because there's always an inner child fear about where your needs haven't been met in the past, and then retreating back in. So I knew I had to work consistently and make that my priority, because whatever you make your priority, you will always achieve. And I wasn't really making that a priority, and I thought, yeah, I'm ready now.
Love that. And before that, did you ever have a time when there was a bit of resistance? Because I mean, the reason I'm asking, I talk to a lot of women who would love an amazing relationship, but they often have a bit of resistance around, like, oh, maybe I shouldn't really you know, this should have just happened naturally. I shouldn't really need to invest in a coach because, you know, maybe you know, there's a bit of stuff around the relationship coaching sometimes. Was there any resistance for you at any stage?
Oh, heaps.
Love it.
All along the way. Absolutely. And I was that person. And I was like, and I was so resistant to dating online. And I just thought, oh God, has it really come to this? What's happened to me that this is what's, you know, it's weird that it's come to this. And so I had massive resistance.
Yeah.
But in that, I knew that was my growth as well. So then I went on, did the online thing, and that enabled me to be more vulnerable as well and let go of my ego. So what does that do? Opens up your heart more. So it's very much a process because it gets you out of your head, and that's where we need to be, is actually open in our heart. And just before Simon came into my life, I felt another resistance come up. But because of the work I've been doing, and I know that that's where the gold is, in the resistance. So I went with the resistance and actually went on another dating site. And then he showed up that night. I was only on that site for, well, not even a day.
Amazing. And that's one thing I love about you. You're always all in. You're really committed, and you really take responsibility for what you're creating. Like, you are such a role model in that space. So I love that you share that there was resistance as well. So tell me, what were before you met Simon, what were was there a bit of a pattern, or what were some of the challenges for you in past relationships, or even like challenges around, maybe did part of you not want to even be in a relationship because you had that thing about like, I don't want what everyone else is having, you know, I'm choosing something different. Like, what do you think the main challenges were for you?
I think there was a few as I went through different periods of my life. So initially I was the rescuer, the carer, what I call the nurse role.
Yes.
So attracting men that needed help. And then that would fulfill a need in me, that need to be needed. And in that place, there's no equality at all. And so I kept attracting those types of,
and then you don't get what you really want either. Like, it's not you're not going to get your other,
it's not fulfilling, and it's not balanced, and it's not equal. Right. And then it's a codependent relationship.
Exactly.
So of course I had to experience that to work out that no, I really don't want this, and I desire something different. And then I realized, then I went through a period because I met a couple of men, and they had a lot of addiction issues, and they were hard work. And I realized, and they're also needy, and I realized that was a projection of me, that I was needy as well. So then I made a decision, and I'm like, I'm not dating guys for a while, and I'm going to work on myself. I'm going to fulfill my own needs. So that was the journey I was on for quite a few years. And I mean, I had different relationships, but nothing serious, and perhaps just going out for dinners, you know, things like that. And then as I fulfilled my own needs, that was when I sort of had that knowing that I'm ready now. I'm whole and complete in myself. But then I had resistance around, why do I really want a relationship? I've got a great business. I'm really happy in myself. I've got wonderful friends. Life is going on amazingly. And then all I used to hear from people is how hard relationships are. And I thought, well, why would I want to need one then?
I want to have fun and be free.
Yes. So I recognized that was going on for me as well. And then I had a massive fear, which we worked on, around a man coming in and taking up time, which would then impact my business. So I'd worked so hard on that. And so then I was scared, like, oh my God, a man will come along and I won't have enough time. But it's amazing how it is about having the cake and eating it too. Like, I'm more productive. I'm more in love with myself. So then I'm receiving more love from him. And then I've moved to this next level of abundance. So my business is going, like, everything is blossoming in my life.
So you're really allowing more in, where you sort of thought, like, maybe I can only have that part, but I can't have the other part, and, you know, I'm better off not having it. Where you now, like, you've got a much bigger container for.
And he's just so supportive. Like, it blows me away all the time, because it's not a reality that I've really seen that much. It's not really out there in society. It is a very codependent existence. My parents very codependent, and to have this receiving and this support there, this unconditional love, it's absolutely incredible, and it enables you to go, you know, to the next levels. So yeah, I'm so grateful.
The next question, like what do you love most about, what do you admire and love most about Simon and being in this beautiful relationship?
I'm gonna get emotional now. So just the way he loves me, I just get to show up and be me. That's it. There's just in all parts of me. There's no pretending, there's no trying, there's nothing like that. And he just absolutely adores me and loves me. And he tells me every single day how he loves me more than yesterday. And I'm just like, oh my God.
That is so precious.
I know. Oh. Yeah, it is.
Thanks so much for sharing this, because this is really, you know, for strong, independent, driven women, often the vulnerability, and I mean, I know that's a big thing that you teach your client, you know, you really support your clients with, around vulnerability and receptivity. It's a really big thing that sometimes as women we tend to disconnect from that, and you're such a beautiful role model with sharing that and being in your power at the same time. So it's a beautiful thing.
It is. You get to really surrender into the feminine, because you've got this strong masculine pillar of strength there.
Yes.
And he's so interested in me. I haven't been used to that. Like, he actually listens to everything I say, and he's very intellectual as well. He's smart and emotional intelligence. That's the thing that I was missing. Right. I'd never met a guy that could meet me on those deeper levels. And yeah, he meets me there all the time, and like, he'll say things and I'm like, oh my God, you were listening. It just shocks me.
Absolute gold. And one more question, because I know we could talk about this forever. I just I want to make sure, you know, we kept it reasonably short for the women listening, because they're often they're on a mission. What did you enjoy most about the journey of being supported with this goal through the coaching? Like, what was really enjoyable about it, apart from you getting the result, which of course is important?
Well, it was the manifestation, because it was the visualizing. It was creating the chemicals, the emotions around that. So what you're doing is you actually collapse the quantum field, and you actually bring that reality to you. So it was a fun process, and you know, the weekly calls with other beautiful women, and just talking to them and listening to them, but particularly in the one-on-ones, I just loved loving myself more, and just finding those parts of me, so those inner children that were in resistance, and bringing them back. And just, I'm sure I cried in every session. They were just beautiful. They really were. So that just brought me to a new, you know, fullness and wholeness, which then allowed him to show up that way as well. And
beautiful.
It brought me to power, because I know that I could never have received him any earlier, because he's just so beautiful, so loving. And I would have sabotaged it. I would have. I know I would have.
Interesting. So you strongly believe that if you hadn't done the work, even if he did turn up, you wouldn't have been able to actually, you know, you would have sabotaged it. Oh,
definitely. Yeah, definitely. I have no doubt about that. Because it's overwhelming. It's very powerful love.
Absolutely.
And it's receiving that and knowing that you're worthy of that. And when you don't feel worthy of that, then you can easily just sabotage it and push it away.
And another thing I think you've really mastered as well. I mean, so many things, but you really allowed yourself to be courted, and you took it, you know, you really started to enjoy about that real sitting back and allowing things to happen. And really be seen. You really showed for you to be really seen for who you really are, and not always having to be the inspirer and giving. Like, you really allowed yourself. I guess it's what you teach, right?
That yes, yeah. Well, I was going on a journey.
You really You really
Yeah.
allow that in the area of intimate relationships as well.
Yeah, and it prepared me beautifully, because then when had shown up, I could just be my total self and just felt, so comfortable with that. And in our first date, I felt like I had verbal diarrhea. I was like, oh my God, what's happening? And I just couldn't stop speaking. I'm crying. I'm telling all these stories. And I'm like, oh my God, you're pathetic. What are you doing? And I was just so in my heart and open and just being me. And he absolutely loved that, because I was no airs and graces.
He loves you for who you are. Absolutely. He's your authentic self.
Yes.
Amazing.
Yeah, I had to find that first. I had to go through all the process to find who I was, really. And then he can receive me like that.
Well, thank you so much for sharing your pearls of wisdom and your journey, your experience. And maybe any last piece of, for women who are listening, who maybe are on that, on the crossroad of like, well, maybe it's not possible for me. Maybe I'm just better off giving up on it. What would you say to them?
Oh, don't give up. One of my sayings is just keep going, never give up. And the fact that you're even watching this, contemplating it, means it's yours, because it wouldn't ever be in your reality otherwise. You'd be off, I don't know, doing something else. So, and you've just got to go with the resistance. There's a lot of fear comes up, and that's where the gold is. So it's not, you don't feel comfortable going, yeah, this is great. You actually feel a lot of resistance.
That's right.
And throughout it. That's because our body's protecting us from, it loves that reality of being alone, safe in that old reality. And so you've got to keep moving through to the new reality of having it all.
I love that. And I'll be sharing your link underneath the interview as well, because for those of you who don't know Melonie, she's an amazing coach, mentor in the personal development space as well. So definitely sharing your link for the women who'd like to check out what what you're up to and the events that you're running as well.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I've been honoured to help support, to have it all, live an abundant life, because then you shine your light for other people to step into that space.
100%.
Wow.
Sending you so much love. Thanks again, because it's so special. I'm really, really grateful for you sharing your journey, because so many of my past clients, I guess that there is a bit of a secretive thing sometimes around this love coaching, and then not necessarily wanting to talk about it openly to the world like you are willing to. So I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome. Like, we're all in this together. The more we share and talk about it, the more we can support each other.
So true.
Yeah, and you have it all. We're lucky because we get to create what we want, rather than falling into default patterns, which are codependence. So the resistance is wonderful.
The resistance is the key, right? It's what we need to embrace.
Oh, and just quickly, he's asked me to move in. So he just bought a house on Friday, and he's moving in, and he's asked, so I'll be moving in with him in December.
And you said yes?
Yes, definitely. Yes, definitely. Yeah. So it's all happening quick, but easy. Like it's.
Yeah, and it's gone fast now, because you did all the work. You really made it a priority. So now, of course, it's all falling. It can really fall into place for you. So I love it. You absolutely deserve it. Thank you again. You're an absolute role model for standing in your power, and you've got all this awareness, and I love how you articulate your experience and the way you look at things. So thanks again, so much love, and we'll certainly chat soon.
Yes, thank you. Lots of love to everyone. Go for it.